Hello everybody, you have me, 3-time world champion, OCB champion, Mr. America champion, WNBF amateur and pro, world champion, NPH_fit. And we are just outside out here in nature, and I'm just gonna, I don't know what to do as far as videos for you guys anymore. So this one's just gonna be a little bit of update on where we're at, I guess, with things. So I am just still chugging along, still dieting, training. Did just want to touch on this for you guys. Getting to be a few weeks out now, like, I don't know, my brain doesn't, I don't know how many weeks exactly, but we're getting closer, and just, obviously the weight comes down gradually. I weigh myself every day, just in the morning. Or when I wake up. I don't really wake up in the morning, but when I wake up first thing, and I just that just is like a number, and I look at it, and over time, I hope it goes down. Some days we go up, some days we go down, but once you zoom out, you want to see it tapering down. So that's been happening, and everything was pretty good. Guns are blazing, training was good, energy was good for a while, and then just these past few weeks, I kind of hit that wall with oh gosh, my strength in the gym is taking a hit, my energy's taking a hit, my irritability is much more. So I noticed that as I dipped in the low 140s, everything was good up until then, but yeah, just hitting that certain number kind of. And last year when I competed and did all the dieting, I didn't really have a specific timeline, so I don't really remember last year, to be honest. I feel my first competition season, that stuff came, the drop in strength and all that, I feel that came sooner. So at a higher body weight, I was experiencing things like decreased strength and stuff, and I don't know if that was just because that was the first time I'd dieted, or it was just the first experience, so I wasn't something I was familiar with. But I've been noticing that this time around everything was pretty good, and I was really happy. And because me personally, I am pretty obsessive about the gym and my lifts and my numbers, and even though over time I've kind of been able to detach myself from the weight, I still have that kind of, it's still just in me to want to progress and be better. And it does sometimes come at the cost of form and stuff like that, because it's something that at a certain point becomes, I think, maybe even detrimental. Obviously, your first few years of training, that should be your focus, I think, especially as a natural athlete, focusing on getting stronger. But eventually, if you're staying natural, you're going to hit a strength plateau kind of, or you can't get stronger forever. So I think I'm kind of having to realize that. So in the beginning, 5 pounds on a lift, or 10 pounds, and now it's I'm kind of I don't know that I'm at my peak strength potential, but I'm getting there, right? Because I've been training for a while, and that's not to say I don't have room to get stronger and on all my lifts and stuff, but it's going to take weeks, months to add real strength to certain lifts. I'm not going to see 1 week I'm doing 150, the next week I'm doing 155. It's just not how it's going to really work anymore. And so that kind of soothes those obsessive thoughts about constantly progressing in the gym. So I guess I'll just keep going on this tangent here, and just wherever this convo takes us, hope you guys get something useful out of it. But yeah, if I don't know where many of you are at in your journeys, but like I said before, wanting to progress, I think, is something that isn't is what should be like the focus, like in the beginning. And I think like a lot of bodybuilders, especially like drug using bodybuilders, they don't really care at all about the weight or progressive overload. There's a few of them, but they kind of just go in there, for at least what I see of them, you know, it's not say this is a blanket statement, but I see a lot of them just going in and just like training whatever they feel like. So if like today, you know, they want to do this exercise and that's not how I train. I train like, this is my workout. Yes, I'll make adjustments here and there, and over time, you know, they definitely change, but like for the most part, it's like, this is my workout, this is my exercises, these are my sets, these are my reps. Like whenever I come back around in my cycle to do that workout, like I'm going to do that same workout and, you know, try and progress it in some way. So I don't just ever really go in there and just like wing it and just like, oh, I'm just like, today I feel like training leg extensions first, and then no, that's not how I do it. And I don't know, like as a natural athlete, I don't really see that as very commonplace in the natural side of things, just because it's you know, when you're an enhanced bodybuilder, you have those drugs and everything fueling the training and stuff, so like you don't have to maybe be as meticulous and like and worry about that, you know, so long as you're providing some kind of training stimulus, you know, anything will probably work. But as a natural, I think, you know, having like more of a plan and like knowing kind of what you're doing before you get to the gym, kind of having like a mesocycle or like, you know, blocking your training out, I think is going to be more beneficial. And I think that's why it's probably more common in natural bodybuilding from what I've seen. So that's kind of what I do. But yeah, my strength has started to take a hit, and I'm just kind of, before, you know, I don't like to just drop the weights just proactively, I guess, kind of. I don't really like to just go, oh, because my body weight is dropping and I'm dieting, like, let's just go in there and do less weight. I kind of like to wait for it to, like, hit me almost and, like, try the same weight that I did, you know, the time before that workout and see if I can still do it. You know, sometimes you'll just feel low energy and I'll just know, okay, this is not going to be you know, achievable to do the same weight and reps. So I kind of like to hold on to the stuff as long as I can, and then, you know, once the fatigue starts building and all the dieting, I like to just kind of then go, okay, now might be a good time to drop 5 pounds or drop, you know, 10 pounds, and you know, I'm still providing the stimulus there, but right now I don't know that, you know, any muscle building is going to occur. And, you know, it's also kind of good for me because it's like maybe even a new stimulus, because I was probably ended up, you know, cheating my form, not doing so much, not getting as much range of motion, and just like thinking that my training is probably holding on, maybe more so than it actually was. So dropping the weights, you know, just kind of taking that and like kind of trying to remove my mental like neuroses around all of that is something that I have a hard time with, but I'm trying to get better at. So there's a little bit on that. I guess I'll tell you guys a little bit about the cardio aspect. So cardio is something that has been increasing. It's something I've kind of kept in since the beginning of dieting, but I kind of use both tools. So I'm, you know, adjusting my diet, obviously, and then I'm obviously, I had cardio in from the beginning. It wasn't in a very high amounts, but I had both variables. You know, some people don't do cardio, but for me, it's just, it's something I'm doing now, and it's been in since the beginning of the diet. So diet is dropping, and then cardio has gone up a little bit. So it depends on the day, you know, just like with my calories, I don't eat the same calories every day. I don't do the same cardio amount every day. You know, it depends on what my workout is, and what body parts I'm training, and how fatigued I feel. But you know, most days are about like an hour right now of just like an assault bike, kind of just like one of those where you move the legs and the arms. And I just try and do it, you know, first thing when I wake up, just, you know, do it, get it over with, and then don't have to worry about it. I don't really track like heart rate or anything like that while I'm doing it. I don't even know, honestly, that in like the formal definition of cardio, if what I'm doing is even that, because I don't feel like I'm not pushing myself to where I feel like I'm getting actual cardiovascular benefits. So that's another thing with like cardio, is I think sometimes like it's conflated, and like a lot of times bodybuilders, it's kind of just functioning as movement almost, you know, like tracking, you know, like, oh, some things now is like steps, you know, people track steps instead of cardio, and I almost feel like, I don't know really, but like I'm not pushing myself that hard on the bike, and so I don't feel as though it's like maybe even considered cardio. It's more just me moving. You know, I don't know exactly. I mean, my RPE is another thing, rate of perceived exertion, that you could kind of use to gauge with the cardio. And it's not like I'm just on there just like barely moving. I mean, my legs are moving, but I don't physically feel like it's providing any kind of cardiovascular benefit. But I don't know, that's just me kind of sharing with you guys like the intensity. And, you know, I don't know, like when bodybuilders do cardio, like how, you know, obviously if you're a bigger human being and you're doing cardio, your heart rate's probably going to get elevated more quickly, you know. So the enhanced guys, it might actually be providing like a real cardiovascular benefit. But I don't know really I don't really see how these other people do their cardio. To me, a lot of times I see people just riding the bike or walking on the treadmill and calling it cardio. I don't know that it's actually like real cardiovascular in terms of definition, providing like heart health. I guess maybe it is, but I don't know. That's something I've just kind of been wondering and thinking about, because, you know, there's the whole, you know, 220 minus your age and all that heart rate stuff. And I don't know, that's, I think, can get like a little bit gray area, because if you're more conditioned, you know, your heart rate isn't going to get jacked up and so high from just, you know, like low intensity type of work. But I don't know, but I just do it, and I do it on the bike mainly just because it's easier to track. I mean, you could go for walks or do whatever's good for you. The elliptical, I just think in a dieting like prep context, it's probably better to do something where you can, like, you know, eliminate pretty much all other variables, so you know kind of what's happening. That's how I like to do things. So like you could go on a walk, but maybe, you know, one day you're kind of, and you could maybe go do it for distance or something, or you could, you know, track steps and all of that. But again, it's kind of like a different thing than you know, doing it on like a specific thing. You're able to go, okay, I did 30 minutes this piece, this machine, you know, so you know if you do 35, 40 minutes, you know you're increasing it. And I think, you know, it's just kind of easier to track that way. And I, you know, like to track things and track my food and track my calories, and so I can go, okay, I did 30 minutes yesterday, let's do 40 minutes this week or whatever. And it's just kind of more controlled environment, I feel like, so I kind of like to do that. So yeah, cardio's around an hour, some days maybe a little bit more, and that's usually I'll just do it in one bout. You know, I just like to get it done and get it over with. And another thing is I I guess like a little tip, and then I'll probably just stop rambling because I don't really know what I'm saying and what's happening in this update. But I'm not really probably gonna edit, so you guys are just getting me just talking as is. Another thing I think is important, and that I think has helped me, that I didn't really pay so much attention to like for the entirety of my prep and dieting last year, is my water intake. Now that is one variable I don't track like exactly. So, you know, food, I go, okay, I ate 2,000 calories or 1,600 or whatever, and I track that, the amounts and everything's. Water, I could probably start tracking it in my phone, but I more so go by, okay, this is like, you know, I had this many water bottles a day, and I kind of try and do that, but it's not like an exact thing. You know, every day is probably a little bit different. I'm probably pretty close to drinking the same amount on every day, but it's not something I know or have an exact value or amount for. But one thing that I started doing years ago, but like it's become more of like something that I'm, you know, good at doing, is first thing when I get up is drink water. So get up, go to the bathroom usually, and then before I eat, before I do whatever I'm doing, I started off with just like, you know, just a regular size water bottle. And I was like, okay, you can't eat, you can't do anything before you, unless you like drink this water, because, you know, when you're sleeping, you're losing weight, you're probably sweating, you know, you're waking up maybe a little bit dehydrated, depending on if, like what you had the night before and meals and all that. So I just like to get that water in. And then over time, you know, it went from just one water bottle to, when I wake up, to 1.5, and now I drink about two water bottles probably at least when I get up, before I eat and before I do anything. And increasing that amount and just like being more mindful of my hydration and water intake throughout the day, I think is something that has helped me, you know, feel better in the gym and all of that. And again, with increasing your water intake, you want to probably do it slowly and gradually. So, but like if I were you guys, I would start first thing in the morning, just try and drink an 8 ounce or 16 ounces. And then eventually I think you're going to wake up and your body's going to like crave that water almost. And it'll just be, you'll just drink it and chug it down before you even know anything. And then that kind of gets you ahead of the game a little bit as far as your water and hydration intake. And then just kind of be mindful to drink throughout the day. And then, you know, once you start kind of maybe noticing yourself drinking more, depending on what your diet is like, you know, if it's a lot of fresh whole foods, which mine is, you know, I'm mindful also that I'm drinking more water, so I want to add in a little bit more salt, a little bit more sodium, you know, maybe be more mindful of like potassium rich foods, just to keep everything kind of in balance, because I'm not really big on, you know, those hydration packets and all of that. I don't like to really consume those, just because a lot of times they're filled with like fake sugars or real sugars even, and I just don't like really having those things and putting those things in my body. So pay attention to that is something I do as well now. And yeah, so I'm just trying to stay on track, stay on plan, and we're nearing probably, I think, around the 1 month mark until the Yorton Cup, which is the first show that I'm looking at doing. So I'll try and keep you guys updated. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this, just like me chatting. And then maybe in the next video or two, I'm going to try and do some more Reddit questions and answers on there. And then probably I could get a little bit more into the nitty gritty of my diet and show you guys maybe like a full week of my dieting, because, you know, I track it all, so I can throw that up for you, or I can talk maybe about my training split. I don't even know if I would call it a training split, because it's kind of morphed and evolved into this like its own thing. I don't train like on a 7-day calendar. It's like I kind of made up my own calendar. I kind of got rid of the, you know, Gregorian, you know, 7-day week and month and all that. I kind of just train my own thing now, and whenever it cycles around, it just kind of happens to cycle back around. So I should probably explain that, or can explain that to you guys in another video. But Hopefully you guys learned something and I didn't just ramble too much. I don't know, but I guess that's it from me for now. You have me, 3-time world champion and professional natural bodybuilder, NPH_fit. We out.